Let's go! My microphone keeps coming into shot. I need to fix that. Imagine a film where the character does what you do all day. Would you watch it? Would you choose to live it? This is an interesting one and also extremely self-explanatory. It kind of alludes to the fact that most of our lives, of our daily lives, are filled with monotonous tasks and big chunks of unintentionally wasted time. I don't know how many hours exactly, but I think it's somewhere in the range of 3 to 6 hours a day are spent scrolling on social media mindlessly. Don't quote me on that, but it's something around that, number of hours. And whatever it is, I'm sure we can all agree that it is more than any of us would find sensible. Would you watch that film? Would you choose to live it? Here's the thing. Films are highlight reels that are like maybe 2.5 hours long. Some of them, if you're Avatar, 3 hours long. But it's still a highlight reel, and it's really action-packed, and there's a load of adventure, and there's really interesting characters. You're just as interesting as any of those characters as well. But we don't need to take it literally in terms of, I want my life to be as epic as a 2-hour motion picture. But if we use that quote, would you choose to live this film of your life? If we take that as inspiration to just find the points in our day that really genuinely are spent unintentionally, and we could take those moments and choose to use them in a way that is intentional or meaningful to us in some way, or something where at the end of the day we can think to ourselves, yes, I'm proud of that. In a film, it might be, Harry Potter killing the basilisk, which is pretty epic. Your basilisk today might just be choosing to do the dishes instead of scrolling on Instagram, or going to your yoga class instead of scrolling on TikTok. That could be the thing that you could be proud of for today. That could be your basilisk. So Instagram, TikTok, doom scrolling is the word of, I feel, the decade. All of us get caught doom scrolling. Doom scrolling is just so easy to do because there's very little effort required on your part, but your brain still feels like it's doing things. It still feels like you're busy, even though you're not. More on that specific topic another day. So what can we replace the doom scroll with? And for the record, I don't think that it needs to be something super productive. What can we be proud of on a daily basis? Like I already said, there's the dishes, there's the household chores. Put on some headphones, put on a podcast, and let that be your doom scrolling. The podcast can still make you feel like you're being productive, and you can just go around the house and do housework or go out for a walk. I know that we all know this example already, and probably for the most part, we do it. And we can do it intentionally, like use it as a tool to get us motivated to do the things that we're not super motivated to do. So you're being distracted, you're being entertained, and you're doing something that will ultimately make your life better. Win. Win-win. Next one, become your own content machine. So on social media, we're doom scrolling, we're consuming content, right? You can become your own content machine. And I don't mean by posting things online, but it would, for instance, be interesting to journal about the last time you doom scrolled and trying to, remember anything memorable that came of it. I bet you, if you sat down, I couldn't do it. If you sat down right now and tried to come up with one meaningful thing that you took away from your last doom scroll, I don't think you could do it. If you can, congrats, but I don't think you could, and I certainly couldn't. So become your own content machine. Journal about something. That's how this started. I just started writing down things that I found interesting, and then I started putting them in my book and writing about them. You could Call your mum, call your dad, call your brother or sister, your best friend. You know, they have real life content to share, and it's meaningful content. And not only is it that, it's a real life connection, something that you definitely don't get from doom scrolling. And I bet you, this is a scary one, I bet you there'll come a day when, if you were shown the numbers that you spent doom scrolling, and not the numbers, sorry, the number of hours that you spent doom scrolling, and compared that to the number of hours that you spent talking to your mum or your dad, your sister, brother, your best friend, your kids, then I have a feeling that the doom scrolling would be possibly really, really close in hours to the time you spent with your loved ones. And in comparison, you would much rather have spent all of that doom scrolling time, or most of it, with your loved ones instead. And then it's too late, right? Scary thoughts. I don't like those thoughts. They depress me. But it's a good reminder. And I think that point sums it up quite nicely. It's definitely not about being productive the whole time, this toxic productivity, constantly feeling like you need to work. And I am definitely that kind of person who often feels like, oh, why am I doing this? I could be working, I could be productive, I could be making something, I could be, working in some way. And I don't think that's good. Definitely not. Although I guess it is why this podcast exists, so could be worse. It's not about productivity, it's about intention. It's about knowing what you're doing, why you're doing it, and knowing what you're spending your precious time on, and being absolutely content with that decision. By all means, doom scroll if you want to. If that's what you intend to do and it has a specific function, then go for it. You're doing it with purpose. You're content with your decision to doom scroll. But I guess it's all about making decisions that we're proud of and that we're happy having made in the long term. Imagine a film where the character does what you did all day. Would you watch it? Would you choose to live it? You might not watch someone doom scroll, but you would watch them clean their house. In fact, I know that for a fact because there's so many YouTube channels that live off of people just cleaning their houses. We will honestly just watch people doing the things that we wish we were doing or we knew we should be doing. It's like we get a second-hand dopamine kick off of, and don't quote me on the science of that, but you get what I'm talking about. It's like we get a second-hand dopamine kick because we're watching someone do the thing that we should be doing. And it kind of feels to our brains in a way that we're doing it ourselves. I wonder if that's how it works. I wonder if our brains can't differentiate between us having done a task and someone else having done a task when we're scrolling. So we kind of get that little kick of, I've done the chore I need to do, or I've started the business I wanted to start, or whatever. So yeah, we spend so much more time watching other people do the things that we'd like to be doing, which I guess is what the algorithm is for. Interesting. That's a thought for another day. And this has gone on long enough. My battery has fucking died. I've had to revive my camera. So let's make a pact, you and me. The next time we catch ourselves doom scrolling, let's ask ourselves, how could I turn this into something that I intend to spend my time on? What could I do now in this situation that at the end of the day, I'll feel proud for having made that decision? Or what could I do that would make this day slightly more memorable? And it doesn't have to be anything huge. It can really be something small. Like I said before, sometimes you're going to end up doom scrolling, and that's fine. You just say, fuck it, I intend to doom scroll right now, and I'll give myself 20 minutes to do that. But I'm willing to bet that 9 times out of 10, we would rather be doing something a little bit more meaningful and intentional with our time. If we really ask ourselves, what deserves my time and attention right now? What story do I choose to live today? Oh, that was all very inspiring.